Guys, it's Ashley here again with another trike from Sun, but this trike is totally different. This trike has no foot pedals on it. This is the Sun HT-3 Handcycle. I'm not going to do that big of a ride today because, guys, I'm just not that buff. But let's give it a shot. Let's see how far I can go. Let's head out. Like I said, this trike is totally different. This is a hand cycle. And so it is 100% powered by hand, and I'm already feeling it. Like, you get right on this trike and it just feels a lot different. I'm going to be a lot slower today, I think, than what I normally ride. And that's okay. We'll see how it goes. So the Sun HT-3 is a very adjustable, upright hand cycle, as you can see. All right. So the Sun HT-3, it's a hand cycle, and it comes stock with a 3-speed. Now, we've been selling and building the Sun HT-3 for years, and for a long time, we didn't even offer it in its stock configuration with a 3-speed. We always upgraded it to the 8-speed. And I can tell you why, because 3 speeds just is not going to be enough for most people. But I'm a bit of a masochist today, I think. So I'm on the 3-speed, and this just does not feel like I have enough gears. So I am in 3rd gear right now, and you know, we're going along. And starting out, when you climb a hill, the stock gearing on this is the Shimano Nexus hub, and it has a kickback brake. When we upgrade this to the 8-speed, we also use a Nexus 8-speed with a kickback brake because you need that. When I'm pedaling forward, I'm going, there is no freewheeling. When I pedal backwards, it engages that hub brake. And then in addition to that hub brake, I have a hand brake here, which controls the rim brake on the fork. So I have 2 brakes on this, but they both brake the front wheel. So, you know, that's a little bit different than what a lot of people might be thinking, you know, is that you would have a rear brake and then a front brake. But this has 2 front brakes, you know, which on a trike like this is okay because you're never going that fast, hopefully, that you need more braking power than that. If you were going to be descending a lot of hills, I might recommend something a little more than 1 single brake. You might need something custom, or we add a rear brake, or I'd probably go with a different hand cycle altogether. So going back to the gearing on this, so it does use the Nexus hub, as I mentioned. So the nice thing about the Nexus hubs is that they are an internally geared hub, so I can shift when I'm stopped, when I'm coasting, when I'm pedaling. So I don't have to worry about getting stuck in a high gear, which, you know, on a hand cycle like this, where you may not be as strong, that may be an issue. I'm not in a position where I have to have a hand cycle, so most of the time I'm riding a pedal power trike. Nice thing about the hand cycle, though, for a lot of people, and a reason why they'll add something simple like this to their garage, is that they can then pedal something that gives them an upper body hand workout. And if you can see here, I just switched my hand position, and I can already feel it's working different muscles in my arms. So I've got kind of a horizontal position here, and then I can switch over to this more angled position. So this more angled position is a little more comfortable here. You know, feels pretty good. So as I mentioned, the HT3 here is very adjustable. The seat can adjust forward and backwards with a rail, and then this hand cranks itself, what we normally call the boom. You can also adjust, you can raise that up or down. I'm gonna shift here. Okay. The one thing I do notice about the 3 gears here is, you know, there's a pretty wide spread. Was just in 3 and now I'm in 2, and I already feel like, you know, 2 is a little low, so now I'm back to 3, which feels a little harder. So we are going uphill here right now, slight uphill, and we're normally on a leg power trike. I don't even know that I would feel this or notice this at all, but I'm definitely feeling it. And I know that Garrett in front of me on the quad, he's going, I don't know if the quad can go this slow. It's you know, normally he has to push it hard to keep up, and here I'm trying to chase him. Hey, look, we're back at our duck pond here. Very nice. So the HT3 does have 24-inch tires, which nowadays is a little bit of an odder size. So 26-inch, obviously very popular, as are 20-inch tires. These 24-inch tires, there's not a lot of choices, but we do have some choices. These stock tires, they're rated at 35 PSI. So they have a little bit of a softer ride. Personally, I think I would rather go with a little bit of a higher pressure tire. Something with less rolling resistance would be nice. Although I can't tell you that when you start out pedaling this thing, the front wheel does slip. Like, I don't have that much weight on the front wheel. You know, I'm not going to be climbing any hills today on this because that would be brutal. But I think you would need a little bit more traction if you were gonna climb a bunch of hills on this. The components on this are pretty simple. I mean, you got a 3-speed hub, you've got a rim brake combined with the coaster brake, you've got some pretty inexpensive 35 PSI tires. Other than that, though, this machine is very well built. Like, I feel like this is something that's, you know, gonna last a long time. And we've seen that. And we do have spare parts if something did, you know, break on you. But you know, overall, you know, it's a pretty nice machine. And like I said, a lot of people will get one of these just to add an upper body cycling workout. And I gotta say, like, you know, I can get on a, you know, a recumbent trike depending on the model, and you know, I could ride that all day long. You know, if you keep your pace and everything, you know, it's not that hard to do 40, 50, even 100 miles on a recumbent trike and still be able to walk. You know, where on this HT3, on this Handcycle, if you're not riding this every day, your limit's probably gonna, you know, I'm already feeling it at, you know, going just, you know, just a couple miles here, where I can already feel that, you know, my arms are gonna be sore today. You know, this is definitely something though where, you know, if you did this every day, it's going to be a good workout. You're going to feel it in your shoulders and your arms. And, you know, it's overall, it's kind of fun for those leisurely rides. If you were going to use this all the time, I definitely recommend going with the 8-speed setup to have those extra gears. And even especially those in-between gears, because I do feel like that jump here between 2 and 3 is a pretty big jump where I feel like I could definitely use those extra gears. So one thing too to caution you on, because this does come up a lot, you can see these cables go up, and a lot of hand cycles will do this where you have the inverted shifter and brake lever and the cables kind of go up and down. It's kind of a necessity if you're dealing with, you know, any kind of mechanical brakes and mechanical shifting here. With these cables here, one thing you have to be aware of, as long as you're pedaling forward, you're fine. Like you can see the cables clear here, but if you pedal backwards, and especially if you're pulling the brakes too hard or whatever, you can actually pull these cables out of the shifter or brake lever. Where I see this isn't usually when people are pedaling back to apply the brakes. It's more when you're rolling this back. Like if I start rolling it back, just like a bicycle, you can see here as I push this back, it forces the cranks to go backwards, and it can actually catch the cables and then wind them around. Okay, so I'm starting up in 1 here, you can see, and you know, to get through the intersection, and then I'm immediately shifting to 3 because that 2 almost doesn't do anything as soon as I get over the crest, and I need that higher gear to keep going. This is a little bit shorter ride, and maybe if I start putting this hand cycle into my regular routine, I'll work up those muscles to be able to handle a bigger ride. I think I've talked just about every feature of this trike. Certainly, if you have any more questions about it, let us know. If you want to try one out to see, you know, how well this does for you, just come by. We've always got them built, and try one out. And as always, guys, we encourage you to relax, spin fast, and ride trikes. Even if it's a hand cycle, it's got 3 wheels, it's a trike. And here at Utah Trikes, trikes even have 4 wheels. We call them quads. Okay, guys, bye. Woo! Yeah! Man, my arms feel like jello, dude. Holy crap. Kind of like that though. Like